For a long time, if you wanted to get ahead in business, there was pretty much one accepted path. Get yourself a top-tier MBA. But what if that whole path is, well, broken? What if it's way too expensive and maybe not even the best way to learn? Today, we're diving into a really powerful alternative, pulling from the core ideas in Josh Kaufman's book, The Personal MBA. So this is the big question, right? It's what every ambitious person trying to make their mark asks themselves. You want the know-how, the connections, the piece of paper that says you've made it. But what's the real cost? Well, hang on, because the actual number is probably going to make your jaw drop. Yup, $400,000. And no, that is not a typo. According to the research in the book, that's what you can expect the true cost to be for a top-tier, 2-year full-time MBA program. And here's the kicker. That number isn't just about tuition and fees, not even close. The biggest chunk of that is the opportunity cost. It's the 2 full years of salary you're not earning while you're in the classroom. When you add all that up, the price tag just becomes absolutely massive. Okay, so the price is obviously a huge hurdle, but the book argues that the problems with business schools run much, much deeper. Let's get into the 3 big systemic issues it points out. So first, as we've already seen, the cost is just a huge wall for most people. Second, a lot of what's taught, the curriculum itself, is outdated. We're talking about financial models and theories that just don't hold up in the real, fast-paced world we live in now. And third, and this one is the real gut punch, getting that super expensive degree doesn't actually guarantee you'll be successful. And listen, you might be thinking, okay, that's just one author's opinion. But it's not. This is backed up by some serious research. A 40-year study out of Stanford University found absolutely zero connection between having an MBA or even getting great grades in an MBA program and how successful someone actually is in their career long-term. So if business school is the wrong tool for the job, then what's the right one? Well, the book lays out a totally different path. It's not just about learning different things. It's about adopting a completely new way of thinking about business. And let's be really clear here. The goal of the personal MBA isn't to be some cheap knockoff version of a traditional degree. Not at all. The idea is to bypass that system entirely and go straight to the source, the fundamental, timeless principles that make any business work, whether it's a food truck or a giant tech company. To really get there, we need to borrow an idea from the legendary investor Charlie Munger, who talked all the time about mental models. Munger's whole point was simple. The quality of your decisions comes down to the quality of the models you have in your head. So what the heck is a mental model? The easiest way to think about it is like a map. If you have a bad, inaccurate map of a city, you're going to get lost. But if you have an accurate map, you can navigate anywhere. The book's whole argument is that instead of memorizing a bunch of rigid formulas, you should focus on building better, more accurate mental maps for how business really works. Better models, better decisions. It's really that simple. Let's look at what this means in practice. On the left, you've got these common but kind of flawed ideas, like thinking you need a perfect 100-page business plan before you can start. But on the right, you see the more accurate model. Understanding the core functions of the business is way more important than some formal document. See the shift? It's about moving from rigid rules to a more flexible, real-world understanding. Okay, so now we get to the heart of it. This is probably the single most important mental model in the entire book. It's a universal framework that lets you break down any business, no matter how big or small, into 5 simple, interconnected pieces. And this, right here, is the key insight that makes everything click. Business isn't some complex, mystical thing only geniuses can understand. It's a process. And that process is basically the same everywhere you look. If you can get a handle on these 5 functions, you can understand how any business on the planet operates. The crucial thing to see is that it's a flow. It all starts with value creation, making something people actually want. Then you have marketing, getting people's attention. After that is sales, turning that attention into a paying customer. Next is value delivery, actually giving the customer what they paid for. And finally, you have finance, making sure you bring in more money than you spend. It's a chain. If any one of these 5 links breaks, the whole business falls apart. But if you master this flow, you've mastered the fundamentals of business. And what makes this framework so powerful is that it's all built on basic human psychology. That very first step, value creation, is all about tapping into one of 5 core human drives. Every great product or service is really just appealing to our deep-seated needs, our drive to acquire things, to bond with others, to learn, to defend ourselves, and to feel certain emotions. If you understand these drives, you'll understand what people will pay for. So after all that, what's the big takeaway for you? Really, the ultimate message of the Personal MBA is all about empowerment. It's a call to action to take your education into your own hands. You don't have to wait for an acceptance letter from some fancy university. You definitely don't need to go into 6 figures of debt. The knowledge is out there. The core ideas of how business works are accessible to everyone, and you have the power to learn them right now on your own terms. I mean, it really doesn't get any more direct or blunt than that, does it? This is the central idea of the entire book, just laid right out there. It's a direct challenge to a century of thinking about business education. And that's really where this leaves us. The real question isn't if you should take control of your own education, it's where are you going to start? Are you going to dive into value creation, get obsessed with marketing, master the numbers in finance? The path is totally up to you.